Pleasure to welcome to the show Connor Theriault, Brown goalie, or Ivy League goalie of the year. Congratulations. Welcome to the show, Connor.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me.
Yeah, of course. This is going to be fun. You remember where it all began? You remember the story of jumping into the goal for the very first time? I would love to hear that if you remember.
Yeah. So my whole progression to goalie actually started really late. So I started off, my dad, he played at Springfield College. He won a national championship there. And then he played indoor pro for the Boston Blazers. And he was a face-off midfielder. So he got me into the game at the youngest age possible. Always had to stick my hand. But it started in 8th grade. I was playing attack. I have a twin brother also who he also played attack. So we were playing together, which was great. And then one day I'm just like, it's like winter time on that like winter break right before Christmas. And I'm like, Dad, what are your thoughts on me playing goalie? And he's like, do whatever you want. I'm like, all right, sweet. So the next day, my brother and I, we go to his college. He's the head coach at Keene State College. We go there while he goes to work. And my brother and I just are in the gym for hours upon hours, just practicing and having fun and playing goalie.
That's cool. What was it about the position that you like so much, or what was it that attracted you to the position?
Honestly, the middle school team that I played for, they didn't have a goalie.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like on the cusp of being on varsity for attack. And I'm like, why not try goalie out? It could be fun. And I've always like thought being like a hockey goalie is the coolest thing ever. So I'm like, lacrosse goalie might as well be cool. So and then I stepped in goal. Obviously it took a while to get used to it. And then I just fell in love with it.
Yeah, there's this draw for many people that like, since we have the spotlight, like you can be that great player, you know what I mean? Like as a goalie. And for a lot of people, that is a huge draw. It is a huge draw. So
that's really awesome. Also, I forgot to mention my grandfather was a goalie back years ago. He played at Westland. So he also inspired me to play the game as well and play goalie.
That's awesome. You got a generation of goalie Theriaults, huh?
Yeah.
Love it. So how did you go about then learning the position, and where did you grow up, by the way? Where are we talking?
So I grew up actually on a prep school campus. So my mom and dad, they worked at a school called Northfield Mount Herman, NMH for short. So I actually grew up on the campus. So it's in Gill, Mass.
Got it.
Hour north of Springfield, south of Keene, just right 5 minutes from both Vermont and New Hampshire.
Got it. And so then were there a lot of coaches around? Like, how did you do? Was it just like shooting, you're having your brother shoot on you? Like, how'd you go about, I don't know, getting rid of the flinch, the hitches, being scared of the ball, all the habits that are typically common for young goalies?
So it was a lot of just my dad, my brother, and actually one of my dad's best friends. His name's Tom Carmian. He's a legend at UMass. We would all just go to the turf at Northfield Mount Herman and just shoot for hours and talk a lot of crap and just have a ton of fun and kind of just get over the whole bad habits by just playing more.
Yeah. Love it. How do you describe your style of play? Like, a lot of goalies have different styles that work for them. And I'm just curious, like, when we talk about arc play or just kind of your stance, like how would you describe your style of play?
I would say I have like a medium range arc. I wouldn't say it's not definitely not high or definitely not a low arc, just basic 5-step arc.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Obviously being a bigger dude, I like to use my size well, and I will play more traditionally, just like somewhat fundamental, but at times, depending on the position or the circumstance, I'll definitely change up the way that I'm playing. So if it's a lower angle shot, I'll take a step out, or if they have a time and room step down, I'll like give like a hesitation step out just to cut off the angle a little more. And just, it's pretty fundamental, but also I definitely have my own flares in it.
Yeah. So, because you've got that bigger body that, if you take a step out on those low angle shots, like shooters not seeing much of the open goal. Is that kind of the idea behind it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I like that. Any other tips for big body goalies? I mean, there's a lot of them out there, at the youth level, at the college level. even at the PLL level, like Scanone's a big dude. Any other tips for goalies that are built like that?
I think honestly, just using your size to your advantage. There's obviously ways that you're told to do certain things in ways that are like fundamentally sound, but if there's an easier way to do it, just play your angles really well and kind of use your size to your advantage. So like if you have this low shot, you either know that you're big enough that they won't be able to tuck it around you, so you just take a side step instead of stepping out, or you just know that if you're at a certain spot to just stand still because you know they'll hit you and they don't have a way around you.
Yeah. I think the other thing to mention too is for some reason, a lot of people think, they see the big body goalies and they say like instantly like, oh, that guy's not athletic. But I think one thing to call out is like, you're working your butt off. I mean, we were just talking before, like you're working out over the summer, like you're like tremendously hard worker to be athletic. Right. And so I think that's worth noting. Agreed?
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
yeah,
like every other person on the field, you still need to be athletic to a certain extent. So it's just getting in the position to be as athletic as I can to help my team out best I can.
Yeah. Did you play other sports growing up? And if so, do you think that helped your lacrosse goalie game?
Yeah. So I played soccer and hockey as well growing up. So I think definitely hockey, just through all the explosion, through playing on skates, and soccer, I think honestly through just field awareness, just having so much time to be able to glance over the field and see all the options you have when you have the ball and being able to read situations and just play with a lot of IQ.
Yeah, that is true. Like when you're skating on skates, like that motion of like pushing off on your skate and going in one direction is kind of like, I mean, that's the safe movement, right? To a certain extent.
Yeah.
With your back leg, right? So that's, I mean, you're working that exact movement over and over and over and over.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's cool. What would you say is your favorite part about being being a lacrosse goalie?
I love the pressure, honestly. I just think, obviously, with a lot of pressure comes responsibility. A lot of pressure comes a lot of responsibility. Yeah. And I just like being able to have an impact on the game and have what I do matter. And I love that, and being able to kind of like form a group around me, just as I had at Brown this last year. I had a great group of defenders around me to help secure the defense. Yeah,
interesting. How do you a lot of goalies don't like the pressure, or at least some goalies, like youth goalies, not yet anyways. They start feeling pressure before a game, and then, they're like, how do I get rid of this? What you're saying is I like it. So like, you before a game, maybe you feel the nerves, but like it's an enjoyable feeling. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like most goalies, obviously there's nerves before games,
right?
But realistically, the game I'm playing now is the same game I played years ago, and it's just against different people. And it's just, if I'm out there, I can have the same amount of fun as I did as a kid. And it's just about having as much fun as possible, because the more fun you're having, the better you will play.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, it's just a perspective thing, I think. It's good that you have the nerves, because if you don't, like, think about time you're playing when you don't have nerves. It's like summer pickup lacrosse. It's like, it doesn't matter, right? There's no stakes. And so, you just go out there and play. Nerves means that it matters and you're playing in something important. And that's great. That's really great. I would love to be back in that scenario.
Yeah.
I still got 4 years of D1 eligibility, Connor. So we'll see.
Excited to see what you do with it.
We'll see what I do with it. Right. Big announcement. 42-year-old lacrosse coach gets cut from team. There you go. So, at what point, like during high school, did you start to have some success at the goalie, or maybe even before high school, start to have success at the goalie position and think, all right, like, I want to play at the next level?
So just through my dad and my grandfather, I always had a dream of playing lacrosse at the next level, no matter the position. But I started having success when so it was weird. So I didn't actually start a high school game until I was a junior in high school.
Oh, wow.
So in terms of high school lacrosse, I didn't have much success until my junior year. And still with that, I had a ton of fun my junior year, but we still went, I think, 2-13, just in the same conference as the Deerfield, Avons, Tafts, all them.
Yeah.
But I think through club, I broke out a little my freshman summer, just at all those like Naptowns, Big Four. So I played with the Top Gun Fighting Clams. Actually, as I was scrolling through the YouTube channel today, I saw that you met with both Danny Hinks and Josh Kirsten, who are also clams and were actually some of my mentors growing up, which is awesome.
Oh, that is awesome.
But, yeah, so starting then, but I think the biggest breakout I had was during my going into my junior year summer, so sophomore summer. I went to Maverick Showtime, and I was fortunate enough to get elected the MVP of the All-Star game. And wow. I think that was my quote unquote big break.
Yeah. That's where you start to get some coaches' eyeballs on you.
Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. What, yeah, so you're right. I've had both Danny Hinks and Josh Kirsten on the podcast. Great guys, absolute great guys, and great goalies as well. What, if you had to, I don't know, do any lessons come to mind that you've learned from them?
Honestly, just how much different the next level was from just the level I was playing at the middle school to playing in high school and playing club against legit lacrosse players. So it's one of those things. I go to my first clans practice ever. I played goalie for like a year. And then I walk in and I see both Danny Hinks and Josh Kirsten coaching the goalies. And I'm just like, wow. And then it was really cool because I was getting shot on by actually someone I coach with now. His name's Sam Cleveland. I was getting shot on by him. And he ended up tearing me apart. And I was just not used to it. And it was kind of cool having Josh and Danny Hinks kind of teach me the ropes and tell me like how everything is at the next level.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a very important lesson. It's a very important lesson, right? Because I think sometimes you can be, as a youth goalie, I mean, you can be the big fish in that little pond. And then you go to the next pond, the bigger pond, and it's like, whoa, like these fish shoot hard. And they sting corners, it's like, and like everyone can shoot. So, you got to be constantly, if you can, if your situation allows for it, looking for the fastest shooters, the best competition to see shots against.
On another side note too, what was I going to say? Oh, it was really cool. So on Danny Hinks' last game at Dartmouth, I actually got to play against him. And I thought that was just really cool to see.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. I mean, you guys played against each other in the IB League. And maybe again next year. He's going to Georgetown for a 5th year.
So it's really awesome.
Yeah, which is great. Should be cool to see. Hopefully you guys will run into one another, maybe in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
Yeah. So yeah, that's interesting. So really, when we talk about your recruiting process, or were you recruited before this what's it called? The new rule, where the colleges can't recruit you until, God, I forget the date now. September 1st of your junior year. Yeah. Yeah. Were you recruited before that?
No.
Okay.
I mean, so at that point, the rule got changed. I was only in my first year playing goalie.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, I mean, did you start to get nervous a little bit? Like, I'm not getting the high school looks, or what for you, then it was just the fighting clams and you had success, and you mentioned that one tournament, you got MVP and kind of use that as your I don't know, call it your springboard to get some looks from the colleges.
I kind of just trusted the process, not to be cliche, but I don't know, I kind of felt like through what my high school coach, Rob Cross, also a PLO Water Dogs coach, an absolute legend, one of my favorite people ever, through his help, through my parents' help, and through Justin Walker, the Clams director, I felt like I could be at a good spot at the end of everything.
Yeah. Trusting the process. I mean, I've heard it. And for those that don't know what it means, I mean, it's kind of like, you trust that if you work hard, it's going to work out. And I really believe that. I really do. It may not work out exactly as you think it will. Like maybe you had your heart on, Princeton. I don't know. Right. And then you end up going to Brown, but Brown, like, it ends up being like the better fit for you than Princeton would have been. I think. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, no, so ever since 2016, when I watched Brown make that Final Four run, I was like, I just want to go to Brown. I'll do whatever I can to go to Brown. And fortunately, it's what ended up happening. So I'm just thankful for that. Couldn't thank the coaches anymore.
Do you know what I do when I'm having a bad day? I go to YouTube and I watch Jack Kelly versus John O'Connor's save edit quarterfinals, Brown versus Navy. I'm sure you know awesome that. I'm sure you know that game.
Oh, trust me, I've watched those save edits over and over again. That, as well as that Final Four save edit too.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, what a team, huh? And Jack Kelly's got to be one of your favorite goalies then.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, that team's awesome. It's sweet getting to meet a lot of them now just through games and through the lacrosse community, and how awesome dudes, people like Jack Kelly and Larkin Kemp and that whole team was.
Yeah. I had kept getting a bunch of people on the podcast in the very early days. And I'm like, hey, who do you think I should get? Like, who do you think I should interview next? And everyone was just like, you got to get Jack Kelly. Like, this guy is he's so amazing. And finally I made it happen. And it was kind of after all of his injuries. Cause you go through that, and he went through a lot, like that was really tough. And like, you don't really want to talk. And then he finally did it. And like, I'm just like, man, this guy is the real deal. He's such an amazing guy, amazing goalie. And I'm so happy that he's made his way back to the top. It's awesome to see.
Yeah, it's really cool seeing what he's done, especially after the ACL, and to now see him make Team USA. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, totally. Well, cool. So what was it about Brown for you that, I mean, I guess it was kind of that 2006, watching that 2016 run that they made.
Yeah, it was that. Also, I just loved watching Daly's team at Tufts play as well. I thought that was awesome. And I just loved the school. I thought the location was also exactly 2 hours from my house, far enough, but not too far that I can't go home. And just, I love the campus. I love their school setup. There's nothing that at Brown I could ask for anything different.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I went to school at Cal, which was 2 hours away by car from where my parents lived. And it was like just far enough where like you weren't expected to go home, but you could if you wanted to. It was there. So I know exactly what you mean. So what is, I gotta be honest, I've never been to Rhode Island. I don't know much about it. Like what would you call, it's in Providence, Rhode Island. Like what is it a college town, or what would you call like the city? How's the setup?
So Providence is kind of like at the bottom of the hill. And so there's a whole Providence city. And then you go up this hill and you're at Brown.
Uh-huh.
So at Brown, there's a main street. It's called Thayer Street. You have a ton of shops there. So if you want any time of night, you can go, you can walk, you can get Chinese, Italian, anything, honestly, you dream of. You can get all that. So the campus kind of runs across that street. So Brown's almost set up into a few different quadrants. There's kind of the bottom left of campus, you have all the dorms, and then you go like middle left of the campus, so probably like a 5-minute walk from your dorms, you have all the academic buildings. And then up and across Thayer Street to the right is all the the athletic complex.
Nice. Now, and was it pretty hard for you academically to get in? I mean, because we're talking Ivy League schools, like these are they're very strict with who they let in. Like you've got to work your butt off in the classroom. Was it hard for you? Did you have to work hard in high school to qualify academically to even get into the university?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool too that the Ivy Leagues don't really look at athletes much different than students. So they expect the athletes to be able to hold their own in the classroom. So
yeah,
you have to work incredibly hard in high school, which is incredibly rewarding also though.
Yeah. It's not like you're getting in based on your lacrosse and nothing to do with your academics. Like you have to get in based on your academics, and oh yeah, you also play lacrosse, kind of
Yeah,
that
definitely.
setup. Yeah. Interesting. Well, you're a smart dude then, Connor.
I try.
Yeah. I try as well. I went to Cal, it's the Brown of the West Coast.
Great school.
As we say. No one says that. No one says that, but you know what? This is my podcast, so we can say it.
You can trademark it.
Yeah, I could trademark it. There you go. Well, it's cool. I got to say, it was a pleasure watching you play this year. I put together a bunch of save edits, and do you feel like it all clicked this year, or were you playing, any different than you've ever played goalie wise, or is this kind of, is that the Connor Theriault that everyone needs to know?
I feel like I've just played the same my entire time.
Yeah.
I think I played, obviously little things change with stands, hand positioning, the whole 9 yards, but the whole mindset thing's been the same ever since I started playing, is that I'm going to be as competitive and as fun as possible. And it'll just hopefully work out. It
looks like your style, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when you're out there on the field, it seems like you're kind of a low key guy. Like you make saves, but you're not the John Galloway, like clapping the hands, firing people up. Is that true?
Sometimes I'll get pretty fired up, just depending on the game and everything. But it's one of those a dime a dozen type of things. I like to be mostly pretty low key and pretty calm, just because I feel like if I'm calm, the rest of my team will be calm no matter the circumstance. So I kind of want to show, no matter the position we're in the game, that we're calm, we're cool, and we're collected.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. I get that vibe from you just watching you. This is obviously the first time we've chatted, but I remember there was one save you made like at the end of the quarter, kind of flipped the ball up and just threw. I don't know if you remember that play. Threw it like way up in the air. I was just like, yes, that was awesome.
Yeah, I definitely have my moments.
There you go. What do you think was the best game you played all year?
I'd like to say Cornell.
Yeah.
Just stats wise.
That was career high in saves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. That'll do it. Somewhere along the way, they started calling you the people's goalie. Where did that nickname come from, and why, how did that come to be?
So it's funny. So one of my, an old Brown alum, Larkin Kemp, who is a Twitter warrior. He's awesome. He loves Brown lacrosse. One of the biggest supporters I've ever seen. He posts a lot on Twitter, and we were playing against UNC, like our second game of the year. And he posted something. He made a comment on Twitter about me. And then under that tweet, Drake Porter went to our Brown roster, took my roster picture, posted the roster picture, and said "People's Champ," and it kind of just caught on.
Yeah, that picture, by the way, is pretty awesome. Is that? I'll kind of post it when this comes out, but how would you describe that pic?
I just think it was funny. So it was one of those pictures that, like, it's media day, so we're all sitting waiting to get pictures. And obviously you're sitting there messing around, trying to like make your friends laugh. So it's me like half smirking, half trying to be serious for the picture.
Right.
It was just really funny.
Yeah, it's awesome. Oh man. That's cool. Yeah. It does have like a half smile, half smirk, but it's just a great picture. So the people's goalie. Yeah. I love the nickname. It's pretty awesome. And I imagine you like it too. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I think it's awesome. I think it's really cool what Larkin Kemp's done with it and all the promotion. I think it's pretty funny, and I just like the fun in it.
Yeah. And I remember there was I don't know what announcer it was, but you guys were playing gosh, I don't even know what team does Peyton Cormier play for? Is he on
Virginia?
Virginia. You guys are playing Virginia, and like you made one point blank save, and then on the rebound it like comes back out, and he basically has a wide open goal, and you kind of like stumbled a little bit trying to get back into the goal, but then do like a hockey style kick save, and the announcer's just like, the people's goalie is putting on a show. I don't know if you saw that clip.
Yeah, that was a really funny clip. It was so weird with the timing and everything that I just fell over. And luckily was able to get a piece of it.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you're doing like anything that you can just to get that's not like something you would coach, right?
No, kind of just see ball, try to get hit by ball.
Yeah. at a certain time, like it's funny. There's a clip that's kind of going viral right now of the women's championship of Kaylee Waters, and she was like caught out of the goal on a clear, and she's like running back into the goal. And it's kind of like when you're in those like panic moments, a lot of times you see the ball really clearly. I don't know why. You just like, I'm just, you're just kind of seeing it and reacting towards it. Maybe you're thinking less. Maybe that's the reason.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the less you're focusing on your hand placement, your feet placement, making the correct time stop, you're just narrowed in on everything. And kind of when you're sprinting back to the goal, all you're trying to do is make sure that ball doesn't get to the goal.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. What does goalie training at Brown look like?
So obviously we do a lot on our own. So our goalies this year were myself, Cam Fiore, and Andy Demopoulos, two awesome, great dudes. I couldn't ever say a bad thing about them. But they we do a lot of work on our own, but also during practice we'll always start with a warm-up, and we'll do probably 20 minutes of drills before practice starts, just to work on things we need to before we kind of get thrown into the gauntlet.
Nice. What what are some examples of something that you needed to work on in a drill that you did?
Let me think. So a lot of things I was always just trying to work on, always being set and always being ready for the shot.
Yeah.
So we'd just do a lot of pass across shot.
Yeah.
And we'd work on that from all different locations just to emulate how it is in a game.
Yeah, I think more goalies need to work on that. Yeah. There's so many times go ahead.
Sorry. My biggest thing too is I think goalie drills are awesome and they're helpful, but I still think the best way to get better is just seeing shots. So I think any way I can see shots and different variations of shots and just make it a game is awesome. 100%. So at the end of all of my warm-ups, even before games, if you ever watch warm-ups or anything, my coach, Coach Holm, amazing guy, great coach. We always play a best of 7. We call it Stanley Cup. And we'll just play first 1 to 4 goals or 4 saves just to get the competitive juices flowing and to just start having fun and being competitive and talking a lot of smack, just to have fun and get into the zone.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. That's a great, well, first of all, I 100% agree with you on the live shots. I think that the drills are cool and they can break up the monotony, especially, when you're a youth. But at the end of the day, the best drill, live shots, it brings everything together. And so I do think, more goalies need to take live shots. A lot of goalies will DM me and be like, hey, what should I do for, bounce shots? I'm struggling with bounce shots. What should I do? And my answer is always go out and take 500 bounce shots. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. So I would, whenever my brother, my father, and Tom Carmi and I, we go out, we'd always just go out. We'd work on certain things I need to work on. So if it was off stick hip, we drill probably 10s, 100s, whatever, a lot of those. And then we'd always play first to 10, first to 5, whatever.
Yeah.
Just so you don't just get in that same rhythm of doing the drill and seeing the same shot over and over again, but also seeing other shots while also seeing those shots. So it's very game-like, and you're never just sitting there just walking through the motions.
Totally. And the competition makes it fun. And it also makes you competitive, which is, I think, is an incredible quality, right? Of just building that muscle to win.
Yeah. I mean, growing up with a twin brother, having a twin brother, that's really hard not to be competitive. So we would compete in everything we do, from academics to lacrosse to anything. And it's just great.
Yeah, I was always that way too. I mean, I wonder if there's probably a trait of elite, what's it called? A correlation between elite athletes and competitiveness. I 100% agree with that. And I never had any twin brothers, but I can imagine how that would be. It's someone right there every single day that you're competing with, regardless, in the classroom, in the backyard, playing wiffle ball, whatever, what have you, playing lacrosse. There you go. Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. Any like unconventional things that you do that you would say had a real good impact on your game? I'll give you one. I played a lot of ping pong when I was in college, and I really felt like that helped me quite a bit. I'm just curious if anything like that comes to mind for you.
Unconventional. I mean, not really. So like, I had a ping pong table growing up at my house, so I would hammer that all the time. We'd always play for hours after school.
Yeah.
But other than that, we just have a net in our backyard. We would just always play, and just everything we do is compete. So kind of, even if it's my brother and I going and playing a game of horse with a lacrosse ball and me not even in the net, we would just compete and just see how shooters shoot and just get used to the game and seeing it from all perspectives.
Yep. Love it. Was there a time, or talk to me about a time you went through a slump? I imagine you did. It happens to pretty much every single goalie, except one. I know one guy said he'd never been in a slump, and I'm like, well, it's coming. Get ready for it. But anyway, have you ever gone through a slump? And if so, how did you get out of it?
Are you talking like multiple game slump or
Yeah,
just
I mean, it
in
could
a
be
game
like,
or?
yeah, it could be in one game. It could be like, yeah, just a stretch of games where you're not seeing the ball so well.
Let me think. Actually, so we played Providence College this spring, and I've let up a few goals, whatever, and I turn around and I look at the clock, and we have 11 minutes left in the first quarter, and we're down 5-0.
Wow.
And I'm just like, I was just in shock when I saw that. And I mean, I wasn't honestly too worried because I knew we just haven't woken up yet and we haven't played our game yet. But the way I look at it, the last shot, I can't do anything about it. So all I can do is focus on the next one.
Yeah, that next shot mentality is so crucial. But it's so hard. It's so hard as for a youth, right? You give up that goal and like all eyes are on you. And especially if it's one that you feel like you should have had, then your mind starts going. How do you encourage a youth goalie to adapt that next shot mentality?
Honestly, just take a breath. I see some people after they let up the goal, they'll actually practice that exact shot. So if they let up a 5-hole goal, they'll practice that 5-hole shot just to be like, all right, I'm set, I'm good. That won't happen again. But honestly, just like take a breath, talk to your defense, kind of just clear your head, even take a few steps out of the net, just get away from the crease and then just get back in and just forget it ever happened.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that move of practicing that save movement that you just missed. It's kind of, you see it in tennis, like the Wimbledon's going on right now. Like they'll hit a bad shot, right? And into the net, and then they'll just do that exact shot, like right after. So like, all right, I got that one next time.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good move. I'll do it sometimes, but sometimes just take a breath, honestly smile and just relax.
Yeah. Yeah. Smile, right? Have fun out there. Maybe nod the head like, all right, they got one on me. That's fine. That's going to happen. It's good.
I mean, at the end of the game, you're just playing the game. At the end of the day, you're just playing the game you love. So
there you go. There you go. Yeah. Any other, when I say like mental game or mental toughness tips or lessons that you've learned along the way, anything else come to mind?
I think mental toughness.
You guys don't work with a sports psychologist, do you?
No, I think Jack Kelly was telling me that they used to, but I don't. We haven't.
Yep.
We kind of just, I don't know, sit there and just get ready for the next one. I feel like I just think in my head, if I'm so bogged down by the last shot or sitting there replaying the goal I let in my head, then it's just going to affect me on the last one. So it's kind of just like over time, just a habit you gain of just being able to drop it. And I don't know, some people like to count to 3 and just take a breath, but just kind of getting ready and just realizing it's, if you're going to have fun, you're going to be able to make more saves.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Love it. What about pregame rituals? What does a pregame look like for you?
So I'll get to obviously depends if it's home or away.
Yeah.
But if it's home, I'll arrive at the locker room probably an hour and a half 2 hours before the game. And then I'll go up there, I'll hang out, kind of just talk chop, hang out for till like probably an hour and 15 before the game. And then after that, I'll take tennis balls out and I'll bring just my stick and I'll get one of my friends to come with me. And I'll sit there and I'll take probably 20 shots, like light, just warm up shots anywhere high. And I'll do the same thing anywhere low. And then I'll go have them just do warm burners, roll them at my feet and probably do 20 of that and then do 20 all over and call it. And then go back to the locker room, probably drink a Red Bull or something, and then go out.
There you go. There you go. Go out and dominate, huh?
Yeah, just it's nice getting like, obviously you have those nerves. I feel like doing that quick little like 10, 15 minute tennis ball warm up just really gets you calm and basically knowing that you're set, you're ready, and you're in the mental spot to go out and kill it. Yeah,
love it. Cool. Any other good stories from this year that we need to chat about?
Stories. Honestly, not really. It was just I had an amazing team, some really good leadership. Just I couldn't thank anyone enough for how great of a year it was, and you're just looking to come out even better next year. That's all you can really hope.
There you go, my man. Well, good luck in the next season. You're voted Ivy League Goalie of the Year. That's an amazing accomplishment. Congratulations on that. What do you? I don't think I've ever had I haven't talked to an Ivy League goalie. Like a lot of Ivy League teams got into the tournament, and there was a lot of talk on Twitter and stuff about that. What's your thoughts on that?
Honestly, it's one of those things. What happens. Mm-hmm. We were just thankful that we were in the tournament, so kind of just refuse media attention and kind of just go out there and do your thing, and everything will work itself out.
Right, you're not getting caught up in all that chatter, right?
No, I feel like you just can't.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you got a game to play.
Yeah, I mean, all you have is the next game to worry about, and worrying about anyone else being in, not being in, will only take time away from you but you thinking about what you need to do.
Yeah, well, like I said, congratulations. I mean, there were some really good goalies in the Ivy League, and so first team All-American in the Ivy League is a great accomplishment. I've had Eric Peters from Princeton. We talked about Danny Hinks. The Harvard goalie was tremendous. Penn goalie was great. A lot of great goalies out of the Ivy League.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was a really awesome group.
Yeah, I forgot to mention Chase too. Chase Ireland. I just interviewed recently, so that one will come out in a couple of weeks. So Connor, thanks so much, my man. If you had to leave the goalies out there with the final piece of advice, what would that be?
Just have fun with everything you're doing and honestly compete in everything. Just the more you compete, the more you're going to have fun, and the more fun you're going to have, the more success you'll see.
I love it. I forgot to ask you about your stick setup. It looks like you got the STX Eclipse 2.
I think, honestly,
not a gear guy.
No, not at all. I kind of, if I can throw with this stick, then that's all I really care about.
Yeah.
I don't like to get too bogged down in any of that.
Speaking of which, though, it looks like it has kind of a big pocket in there.
I think I just always use that stick, and it's just warped out.
There you go. There's this one pic here. I'll share it. There's this one pic I got from the, can you see that? There's this one pic where like the dude's ripping a shot and you're making the save, and it's like the pocket's so deep, the ball's kind of like wrapped around the head. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I love it.
It's almost like the channel got like pushed out so far to the fact that it was honestly just like a massive, a massive bag.
Massive bag. Yeah. And I kind of like looped around, but
yeah.
All right, Connor, thank you so much. If folks want to hit you up or ask you any questions, do you do the Instagram? Should I link up to that, or Twitter, or what?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What is it?
You can reach out to me at Theriault2 on Instagram.
Perfect.
And I'm more than happy to answer any questions or talk to anyone.
Awesome.
I just want to help any future goalie out there.
You the man, Connor. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.